I'll be like, okay, so we have like, 6 minutes until Chubbis is ready.
Right.
I'll explain what Chubbis is about to do. He'll come and explain what I'm about to do.
Right, yeah. And then
Okay. So it should be just a few minutes. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Blast the Process, where we Shadowrun. Sure to be an excellent run with our good friend Knewster. How you doing, friend?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for having me on. I'm looking forward to it. It's a fun little game from the 90s. It's not run a lot, so I'm looking forward to showing it off to a bunch of people that most of whom probably haven't seen it before.
I am really excited to watch this because I love Shadowrun.
Well, let's get started. I guess we got to do this
you
fast
can
and
go.
everything.
You can go right ahead whenever you're ready.
I'm going to start my personal timer just so I can keep track of how things are going in the game, and we'll start the timer right in a 3, 2, 1. Let's go. We are gonna go with Gator Shaman. You get a choice as to your starting character class. We go with Gator Shaman because they have a higher negotiation skill. That means that we're going to be a little bit better off in terms of bind. Money is something that we need. Right off, we'll see how nervous I am. Usually when I do this in front of an audience, it's a lot, but I managed to not screw up the initial menuing. That's usually, whenever I've done this for an audience, that's usually the thing I screw up, is actually selling things in that shop. Because you get a little bit of, I'm just starting to run nerves, and you hit a button one too many times. But I actually managed to do that properly. I'm proud of myself. We're going to call a taxi. We are going to be tracking down the killer of our brother. Our brother was a Shadowrunner. He got murdered in a Shadowrun. We're going to find out who sent him to his death and why. The first thing we have to do is get his belongings, which we just did. Now, the game tells you to go get a job to pay for them, but we just sold everything we owned in order to raise the money, because we're not getting a job. That's loser stuff right there. We're gonna get everything we own, track down the last remaining member of our brother's party. She gets killed, we run away, and we're gonna go find the person that made equipment for him. Keep tracking down more clues. I'm sure this is gonna go really well. He's gonna tell us that he was working for what he sold him, and we're gonna be tracked down by the hit squad, and they're gonna kill us right away. That's okay. We actually can't die in this game. Every time we die, we lose 10% of our income and we wind up at the hospital. And you can actually win that fight, but it's easier to just intentionally die because it takes longer to win that fight than to just have no armor on and be shot repeatedly until you wake up at the hospital. But this brings up a bad point. We are not leveled at all. We don't have any weapons or armor, and we got to go through some dangerous situations. So we're Ricky the Rat Shaman is also a shaman, not totally useless. He can only be able to do there twice in a row. Got in a third try. If you see Ricky put his arms up and stand there looking like an idiot for a second, it means I just told him to turn invisible and he failed to do it. You can fail to cast spells in this game, and Ricky gets a bonus to it because he's a rat shaman. Their speciality is turning invisible, but that doesn't mean he does it 100% of the time. So hopefully, the good news is if the character that you're in control of is invisible, you don't get any random events. That means no enemies will spawn, and you won't get any events where you have to talk to the police or anything like that. You also miss out on some good events, and if you're doing this in a normal speedrun, we're actually going for time, you might intentionally troll for good events that can save you time later in the game. So we're missing out on any possibility of good RNG, but we're balancing it, so we're not going to end up getting wrecked by enemies. I will point out again, I have no weapon or armor on. I really don't want to fight anything right now. We're going to hire Walking Bear, who's also a shaman. So we're going with some sort of like demented 4-job Fiesta lineup right now. We're all magic users, and we don't have any spells. And the only reason I want her is because she actually has really expensive magic items that I can hire her and then sell from her inventory. And then we're going to kick her out of the party now that we've made a little bit of money, which we need. But first, we got to walk in this door. She's famous enough that she can get into this bar where we are too unknown to get in. And we can talk to this guy, Caleb Brightmore. He's the boss that sent my brother to his death. You'd think we'd be angry at him, but this is America. He's a job creator. He gets away with it. Now we can fire Walking Bear. I'm going to do her one last disservice and take all of her clips of ammunition before I kick her out. and we're going to keep going with Ricky. And I hope you're all excited because we're at the point in the run where we actually get a good Shadowrunner. By selling all of her stuff, we can hire Rihanna, who's a Decker. Decker's kind of like a hacker. They break into computer systems, and she's one of the best NPCs in the game. She's very expensive, which is why we had to sell all of Walking Bear stuff in order to hire her. But we actually have something like a good lineup right now. We're going to deviate from the actual regular speedrun strategy here, and we're going to upgrade our cyber deck. Our cyber deck is what we're going to be using to break into the matrix of the future. This game was from, the Shadowrun came about in the 80s, and it was what people in the 1980s thought the future was going to be like, kind of like Blade Runner or something like that. So, but they got some things right, they got some things a little bit wrong. For example, they predicted that the internet would be a big deal, but they thought it was going to be like Tron. Which, who knows, maybe it will be. A little bit of bad menuing there. Again, nervous, sorry, but we got through it and lost a couple of frames. I'm going to go ahead and save the game here because we're about to go Pepsi Man, and there's some really terrible, horrible things that can happen to us while we're in Pepsi Man form. Namely, there's something that can happen. We're going to go into the internet and we're going to try and get enough money by stealing people's credit card information and stealing corporate data files and such like that to win the game. There we go. We get through the first one. We have achieved Pepsi Man form. I hope you're all excited. We might be Pepsi Man for a while. We got to get a certain amount of money in order to just get through the end of the game, so we're here until we do it, basically. This is one of the big RNG roadblock sections of the game, but usually it doesn't take too long.
This might be the best game I've ever seen in my life.
I am glad you like it. This game's a lot of fun. This game...
It combines good RPGs and Pepsi Man.
Right. What's not to like? Right.
What's not to like? That's incredible. I just had to jump in with that.
No, that's totally fine. I'm totally glad you're getting hyped for Pepsi Man. I know I am.
I'm super hyped.
The sad thing, if you can call it sad, is that I knew this game before I knew what Pepsi Man was, and the first time I saw Pepsi Man, my thought wasn't this game's like Pepsi Man. It was like Pepsi Man is like the Matrix persona from Shadowrun. Let's see. We gotta try and fight our way through here. Oh, this big square thing in the middle is a data file. That's what they thought it would look like. They thought everything would be 3D virtual reality, which, to be fair, it might eventually be. But like the big box is basically a big box of data that we have to try and bust our way into. The systems that we're going into here are randomly assigned, but they're not completely random. There's a finite number of them. There's about 25 in the game, and we're just rolling for a random one of the 25. I've got them memorized, so I should, in theory, know the best way to go and where the best data files are in any given system. But sometimes I screw up. Hopefully today we're not screwing up. That's 40 and 1. 60 and 2. Nothing. I got to keep track of the amount of storage I thought. Since this game's from the 80s, they really thought that storage space would be like the big limiting factor in computing. It came from an era when everyone walked around with the big blocks of floppy disks. All right, that's about as much as I can carry, so I'm going to leave. Part of the upgrade I did for my cyber deck was increasing the memory as much as I could afford, but we're still pretty limited. We still have kind of a potato deck that we're running around with, so we can only carry so many files. We have a max number of 5 files that we can carry, and then a storage of 186. So that's about all I can do. I'm doing a double retreat glitch here, and I'm going to crash the system. The double retreat glitch is if you retreat from a data node and then retreat again, you can get into a node that you haven't actually beaten yet. And it's one of the reasons why we can take on high-level systems with a potato deck. Because every time we hit a hard data node that has security on it, we can bounce around it. But you can only advance one tile that way. You can't keep doing it. Now that we got that data, we're going to try and sell it to a fixer and see how much money we get. We got about 2,800. That's pretty good, but it's actually not enough. We got to get a little bit more. If this was not a marathon, I'd probably try and win the game with this amount of money. Oh, come on. With about 4,500, you can do it. But that also would imply that we won't really need healing items and nothing bad will happen. Since this is a marathon, I'm going to play it safe and go one more time, hopefully get some more money. That's a bad system. We got that one again. The RNG in this game is a little awkward in that I'm actually going to save the game now that I think about it, talking about how I should be safe in marathons. I wouldn't normally save the game there, but again, marathon. The RNG in this game is a little weird in that you will often roll the same thing multiple times. It's not completely random. There's like RNG seeds involved. But we haven't been able to, there's only been a few people that run this game. We haven't scienced it out enough to really be able to manipulate it or anything like that yet, unfortunately. This could be a good one and it could be a bad one. If the deception works here, it's a good one. If the deception fails, it's a bad one. It's a bad one. That's one of the 25. There's 2 that look identical to that, so I had to figure out which one that was. Once you get past that second data store there, you can tell, it's obvious which one you're in. But until that happens, you don't know. So we're just using our upgraded deception to slice through this. Okay, this one will work. And we're going to do the double retreat glitch to get into the CPU. Now, you may have noticed that I intentionally crashed the CPU instead of just unplugging the computer the last time I was in there. That's because the game is set up so that if you are breaking into a corporate office building, like any good Shadowrunner, that's what Shadowrunners do most of the time, you can get out of it by either waiting for the alarm to die down or hacking into the computer system. You can either try to fight your way out, or you can hack the computer system and turn off the alarm that way. And you can do it by crashing the CPU in the building. However, there's a glitch in the game where if you crash a CPU on the overworld, the game doesn't know where to shut the alarm off, and so it shuts down all the alarms, of which we had none running, and unlocks every door in the game, because it's confused. So we have just unlocked every door in the game. That's going to make... that's about all I can take, so I'm going to pull out. We'll see if we got enough money here. That's going to make getting through a large chunk of this game relatively trivial. It should be hard to get through a lot of the sections that we're going to do, but we just made it super easy. That's enough money. We're going to get out of here. I'm going to switch over to Ricky again. He's turned on fire, which is not what I wanted to do. I want him on invisibility all day. And we're going to hire a taxi and go for a very long walk. We're going to go to the forest. In the Shadowrun timeline, the Native Americans have reasserted independence from the United States, and they control a large chunk of the Pacific Northwest. We bought a passport earlier to go say hi to them and visit them. This is where my brother was killed. And we're going to go to the Native American wilderness area, which is out here, and look for clues. First of all, we're going to talk with David Owlfeather. He's the ranger out here. He's going to tell us that he can help us, but he won't. However, he's lost his brother in the city, and if we help him out, he'll help us out. So we got to go track down his brother, liberate him, and then he'll give us a hand. It's kind of a brother for brother trade, and we'll take him up on it. We get our first experience with Cave Maze. Truly the bane of Shadowrun in general. This entire game, I like this game a lot. It had a very, at the time, very innovative random mission generation system, which isn't something that I'd really seen before and which really didn't exist very, very well at the time. But they also made a huge chunk of the plot blocked off by a cave maze, and I cannot say that was their wisest choice. We're going to walk through here. We just found one of the members of my brother's team. He's super dinged up, though. He's been shot repeatedly. So we're going to have to talk to the hospital and see if they can do anything for him. Also, he's pretty powerful. You know what? I'm a wimp. I'm going to save before I go in here. Just because terrible, horrible things can happen in Cave Maze, and I don't want to lose. Normally, if you're doing this game like for time and something terrible happens, you just restart. I don't want to get to that situation, because Ricky, as you just see like there, likes to come visible at bad times, and all he has to be is visible for one frame. And if that happens, we can get hellhounds. Everything else will be okay, but if we get a hellhound spawn in the caves, it could be bad news because, well, we don't have any weapons or armor. So it's not like we can do a lot to stop them. Well, okay, I say that. There actually is something, but it involves a lot of running away and takes a long time. So we're going to walk through here and track down an elf named Frosty. Caleb Brightmore told us that he got the job from her. And she lives with a bunch of snooty elves who won't even talk to us. We're going to ask to talk to her. She's going to say no. They're going to give us a fetch quest to do. If we do enough fetch quests, eventually they'll let us speak to her. So we're going to do that. And we're going to head back to town. But we're not actually going to... Yeah, we are. It's Munchkin strats. It's power gaming. Yeah. We're going to go back to town, visit the hospital, let her know that our team member Stark is, like, horribly messed up in the forest. They're going to send a helicopter and get him out, but he needs a prototype cyber heart in order to survive. So we're going to go get that. We're going to buy another passport. Might as well do that now. You can do this in any order you want, really, because we're just flying around by taxi at this point. And we're going to go to the Penumbra district of Seattle, which is where the prototype cyber heart is, and it's also where the Ranger Aragorn's brother is located. We're going to walk in here because we need to find out that last information. We technically don't know that yet. I just know it because, well, I played this game before. But unfortunately, even though she's the most competent Shadowrunner that we have, we are done hacking, so we got to get rid of Rihanna. And hire this guy. Winston Mars the Troll. He's not very good. He's good at punching things, but we don't actually need him for that. What we do need him for is that he costs $360 to hire, and he has a shotgun that costs $2,000. No more Pepsi Man, I'm sorry. I know, I also like Pepsi Man. We're going to go into Fuchi, and we're going to steal us a Cyber Heart. I'm going to save the game, because this can actually go pretty bad. This one is, oh god, especially if Ricky glitches himself visible. We made it. Unfortunately, there is a chance when you go through an area transition where your character, Ricky, can become visible even if he shouldn't be. Even if he's recently cast invisibility. And that's what happened right there. So he just walked through the door and his spell instantly wore off. Oh well. Fortunately, it didn't hurt us. But that is one of the many bad things that can happen in this particular speedrun. Now you notice we're just walking through doors. That's because we glitched them all and locked. This should be a hard run to do because you have to go through multiple doors that are high level, that are locked. You're likely to set off an alarm in the process. So you'll have to fight people, hack into the system, do all that. We're just making it easy. I'm going to go up here. We get 2 clips. That's fine. Just do a little bit of looting. I'm going to bop into that room just to recast invisibility, because Ricky only has something like an 80% chance of walking all the way from the elevator to outside without his invisibility wearing off. And if his invisibility wears off, the security guards will talk to him. And if the security guards talk to him, Ricky has like 1 in charisma. He will not be able to talk his way out of that situation. And he won't be able to explain why he suddenly became visible in the middle of an office building. Understandably, that would actually be really tough to do. And then we'll be dead, basically, because we can't fight these guys. Now, we're going to go break somebody out of a corporate prison facility. Now, this is one of the big trouble sections of the game, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk right past a security camera that can see me even though I'm invisible, and hope they don't see me. Right there, we don't set off the alarm. That's great. There's not a lot you can do there except actually spend the time to turn off the security cameras, but it's a speed run. I don't have time for that. I'm just going to YOLO it and hope for the best. If we do accidentally set off the security alarm there, which happens about half the time, it's not the end of everything. Whoop. Because all I have to do is talk to that guy, get him out of there, and now I need to go to the hospital, and the quickest way to get to the hospital to turn that cyber heart is just start shooting people. So let's do that. And we're dead. Great. We're at the hospital. I want to turn the cyber heart. Great. Turn the cyber heart. Stark, the last remaining member of my brother Shadowrun team, is alive, and we're going to go talk to him. He left the hospital without even saying goodbye, but he went straight to the bar, which means I like this guy. That's what I would do. 35 minutes from open heart surgery to hanging out in a bar. My kind of dude. Alright, so we're gonna go over here. We're gonna go shopping. There's gonna be a little bit of awkward menuing, unfortunately, but it's kind of unavoidable because we gotta go in here, browse the weapons and equipment. I'm gonna sell his stuff. I'm gonna sell the stuff that I don't need anymore. And I can... No, not the shotgun. Awkward menuing. That's okay. Okay. Great. We're good. Alright, so we've got... Oh no, come on, you idiot. You did this already. This is where the run falls to bits. I changed the routing for the marathon to make it a little bit safer, and what I'm doing there is I'm typing in the keystrokes that because I'm used to it of where I would normally go. Normally I would go and buy a passport right there, but I preemptively bought the passport because I'm using a different route. So that was dumb. Sorry. But we're going to turn in the fetch quest. We're going to talk to the ranger, who's going to let us know that thank us for freeing his brother and tell us that we now have access to another shaman, an actually competent shaman, the only competent shaman in the entire game in the Native American area, and that they will help us out. So we're going to go say hi to them. And they're going to give us, in true RPG fashion, a series of fetch quests, which are going to be increasingly complicated, arbitrary, and difficult. The first one is they will tell us the name of our enemy if we get them a gargoyle horn. So we got to go find a gargoyle. They can spawn a lot of places. They can actually spawn right here. And if you get one, it saves a lot of time because you can get one that right that corner. Enemies will spawn sometimes, and it's fantastic. Unfortunately, did not happen that time. That's okay. We're gonna go track one down, and from here on out, we're going full murder hobo. You might have noticed I just killed a civilian. That's because experience in this game is calculated kind of oddly. Hi. A, we finally have someone on our team who can kill things, which is good. And B, they didn't know what to do with experience when they made this game. In Shadowrun, in the tabletop game... Wait, did I forget to trade clips? I did. Okay, at least I remembered. In the tabletop game, there is no experience for killing things. You get experience for completing missions, you get experience for accomplishing things, they call it karma in that system, but you don't get 15 experience for killing a goblin, or something along those lines. We get gargoyles right away, that's great. You might notice my main character has decided to punch things. That's because he's an idiot. We don't get the one shot on him, that's fine. So they decided to make all the enemies in this game give kind of an arbitrary amount of experience percentage points. You get for roundabout every 20 things you kill, you're going to average 1 experience point. It's not set, it is somewhat probabilistic, so I won't know how much karma I have. I can't possibly know that. At some point we're going to do a karma check and I'm going to see how much experience I've gained. But the more things I kill, the higher the probability of having a large amount of karma. Which means that it's actually a relatively good way to get experience when you have Stark, who can one-shot civilians, to just kill things. Because it only takes them a split second to actually murder them. And if you rack up enough of them, we'll get experience points. And we are karma locked. We need 18 experience points to win the game. There is one section of this plot, which is multilineal. where you need 18 karma to get your reputation high enough to enter a bar. I'm going shopping. To enter a bar in order to continue the plot. And unless we get 18, we're not going to be able to win. Now, everything we're doing in terms of fulfilling these plot devices is going to give us about 15. We're going to need to kill stuff in order to get those extra 18, or we're actually going to have to do a Shadowrun. And nobody wants to do work, so we'd like to avoid that if at all possible. If it happens, it happens. We'll find out. But, and so at some point in the game, I'm going to do a check. If we've got enough, we're good. If not, we'll have to do a job. And the job we're going to do is one of the noob jobs that or gargoyles. I'm going to leave and come back in. Reset the RNG. Streamer AFK. Oh, am I off? There we go.
No, you're fine.
Oh, okay.
Fine.
Oh, okay. I didn't know what that meant. Streamer AFK. I was like, oh god, technical issues. Okay, we get Hellhounds, so we killed one of those, no problem. Hellhounds are just about the most dangerous enemy you can get in this game, so getting through that without taking any real damage is ideal. My main character's dead, which in a normal RPG would be an issue, but I don't really care. Joshua, our main character, can't do anything well. He's never been leveled up. He doesn't know any spells, despite being a shaman. He's basically along for the ride and ballast. So him being dead is only problematical. There we go. We got him back alive. Perfect. Is only problematical in that we can't proceed through areas while he's not alive, basically. So we just got to periodically heal him up enough to be conscious in order to win the game. He's not going to do anything useful. His only superpower is hiring people and convincing them to let them sell their belongings in order to join the team. Oh no, you're fine. You're fine. I just, yeah, it's my fault. Anyway, okay, we're gonna. So we were asked by the Snooty Elves to free someone from prison named Eileen Two Fists. This is going to be the next glitch in the game that we're going to be doing, because we're not going to do anything of the sort, but we're going to make the game think that we did. So we're going to go here. I'm going to rehire Ricky. You don't have to rehire Ricky for this section, but I'm going to want him in a minute, and I'm going right past here, so I might as well hire him. He'll get some experience for it, and at some point we're going to level up, and I might as well get him as much experience as possible in order to help with the next fights. We're going to talk to the prison, but we're not going to go in. The game tells you to go in. We're not doing anything like that. But by talking to the prison, we've spawned the person on the map, and all we have to do is go to the section of this map that overlays the prison map, and she's standing right there in a bar. Hi. We freed her from prison. Kind of. We actually did no such thing, but... Alright, let's do a karma check. We need... no. I said... we're 3 short. That sucks. Alright, we got to get jobs. Okay, we're gonna get... no, I don't want to kill ghouls. So, unfortunately, we gotta get noob jobs. And he keeps offering me ghoul jobs. This is sort of the procedurally generated mission system in the game. Jackal's Lantern to Stoker. You got it. I know, I gotta work. Lame. This is another glitch in the game. I just hired these people short-term. I hired them for 1 mission. But they're not going to leave at the end of this mission. Because unless you actually get paid, they don't leave the party. And if we just refuse to get any job that isn't a courier mission or a drop-off mission where you just have to walk from one door to another, they'll never leave. And we won't have to rehire them. Which is super helpful at this section. Ares to Boris, you got it.
Schattenlauf.
Yeah. And this is just it's not horribly unlikely luck to have to do 3, but that's definitely suboptimal. Usually if you're on if you get good luck with it, you might have to do 1. Doing 3 is definitely going to slow us down by probably about a minute overall relative to what you're hoping for, and that or possibly even more, to be honest. So that's just too bad, but we'll get through it. I'm not taking the ghoul job. They want us to kill ghouls, and if I do that job, I'll lose everyone in the party. I'll have to rehire them. Shiawase to Stoker. You got it, buddy. But you got the procedurally generated missions. These are the noob missions. They're meant to like show you where everything is. Basic, very easy courier missions. Take object A from point A to point B. Bodyguard stuff. And killing ghouls, which are relatively easy enemies, even for low-level characters. They get more complex when you start getting jobs that ask you to break into office buildings, do things along those lines. As you level up, you're meant to be doing this. All right. Okay, we go here, go back over there. Trigger that, and let's go talk and find out the name of our enemy. Shadowrun again? Yep. So we gotta do some setting up, and we're gonna have to go through another long walk in the forest, unfortunately. And then once we're done with that, we're going to... How long have I been speedrunning this game? I don't... That's a hard question to answer, because I think about a year would be correct. But to be honest, I started speedrunning this game for about 3 or 4 months last year. And I took a long break from it. And then I did this game. I kind of got put into a situation where I had to speedrun this game as an emergency game for something, and it went completely awfully. Like, it was like being kicked in the shins for an hour. And as a result of that, I decided to submit it to this thing and actually try to do this as like basically a revenge game almost. If that makes sense. Revenge for kicking my butt the last time game. So I got back into it and have been doing this, but not too long, to be entirely honest with you. It's a relatively easy game to learn how to do. So it's easy to pick up. There is unfortunately, in terms of getting like really good times, and one of the reasons why, yeah, it is. One of the reasons why this game will probably never take off is like one of the big time speedrun games is that there is like a relatively major RNG section in terms of the matrix, and also where we were before, where we were trying to get hellhounds and gargoyles to spawn. And so unfortunately, the RPGs, even really fun ones that have very significant RNG blocks to success, are always gonna detract people from getting into it like super seriously, I guess, unfortunately. Okay. But it's relatively easy to pick up, and I think it's a lot of fun. So we talk to them, let her know that we've liberated the lady from prison, and we're gonna go and get a dragon scale, which is what the obscure and difficult to acquire item that the shaman asks us to get. We're taking Ricky here. Normally in a speedrun I don't. I just have Stark go through and muscle his way with a shotgun. It's a little bit safer though, and because this is a marathon, we're gonna use the invisibility. It slows you down more than a little bit because Ricky, first of all, moves a little bit more slowly than Stark, and you have to pause to like cast the invisibility animation, and we had to rehire him when we don't really technically need to, but it's 900 times safer because there are a lot of enemy spawns that can happen in the cave area, and while Stark can get through of 9 out of 10 of those spawns, no problem. If he gets a Hellhound spawn right in his face, he'll probably die, and then that's kind of end run right there. But we make it through the cave, tracking down a dragon, and my main character's dead. I really don't care. Now, we just ran into a Renraku cave squad. These, I don't know how badly you have to screw up to wind up on the Renraku cave squad, but you gotta screw up super bad. Yeah, I don't know if you noticed, but they just shot Ricky, the dwarf, who isn't exactly tanky, like 9 times in his face, and he's totally fine. This dragon apparently was threatened by Cave Squad. I have no idea why. But he thinks we saved them from Cave Squad. We did no such thing. We're gonna go back to our main character. Unfortunately, the character spawned. Oh god. Alright, we're gonna have to use grenade strats. It's gonna take them so long to actually find me that I'm gonna have to blow myself up with a grenade. Oh no, they got me, great. But the dragon, for whatever reason, believes we saved him from Cave Squad. So he gives us one of his scales as payment, and also promises to help us out at a later date, which is super useful because he's going to help us out today, actually, in about 10 minutes. We're going to rehire Stark. I'm going to throw a grenade in a bar just for funsies as we walk out the door, and we're going to get out of here. We're going to rehire this guy because we're going to need him in a little bit. And we're going to tell him the shaman and Council Island adventure. Yeah, exactly. I don't actually need all those grenades. The terrible thing is I'm playing it dangerously by leaving Joshua with the grenades equipped, because if we get into a fight, he might throw a grenade at me. We'll find out. Hopefully not. They're dangerous. I don't trust Joshua with anything. But we find out the name of our enemy is a dog demon named Thon. He's the one who killed our brother. And he's attempting to take over the world in true RPG fashion. We gotta stop him. Now, if I've mathed correctly, and I never math incorrectly, we should actually have enough to level up here. Oh, we got plenty. I'm actually going to increase the body, we're going to check out. Now, that might seem like kind of a... kind of an out of left field thing if you were playing this game casually. It's actually built up quite a bit more if you play the game normally. If you play the game normally, there's actually quite a lot of build up to it. There's some notebook, there's a lot of clues and hints that you're dealing with a supernatural entity, that there's something mysterious going on. We've skipped all that, and we're just going straight to the, yeah, your nemesis is a demon, deal with it. We're going around, getting ready for the fight. We want to come in this way. And I'm going to safety save before we go in. And track down the section of the game where we want to start killing Japanese businessmen. Now, you notice my character's almost dead again, and he's trying to punch people with his fist, which is probably the most useful thing I can have him be doing. We win the first fight, no problem. That's why we got the good armor and gave Stark a shotgun. He does a lot of damage with that, and gets through the armor that the Japanese security force is wearing. You would think that a shotgun would actually be kind of a poor weapon choice for busting through armor, but in this game, for whatever reason, it is considered to have a very high power, so it is the optimal weapon, or one of the optimal weapons for getting through there. I'm going to heal up Joshua or Stark, who's our main damage dealer, and we're going to track down the second of the Japanese businessmen and take care of them. Our main character's dead. I don't really care. I didn't even bother putting armor on him. And we get a series of clues from the second Japanese businessman that we tracked down, finding out that they have decided that they were also tracking down what was going on with the demon, that they were betrayed by the demon who promised them wealth and power, but has turned out to not be on their side. Apparently you can't trust demons. Who would have thunk it? I'm going to heal up Ricky because we're going to need him in a little bit. And we're going to do our last shopping trip, and then we're going to go win the game. Nope. Yeah, I don't need the grenades anymore. That goes. And I don't need that anymore, so that goes. And... okay. We now have basically as many healing items as we can carry, which should be more than enough to deal with the end boss, even with my main character not even bothering to buy any armor. So, and we got to break into Renraku. Renraku is one of the biggest corporations in Seattle. Fortunately, we've unlocked all the doors. There is still security cameras up there, which can catch me while I'm invisible, so I'm going to carefully walk around to the south here and go straight up the elevator to the top floor. We're going to walk in and break into the office of the last guy that we just killed. He had notes saying that he had half of a map that was supposed to lead to treasure and power and all that stuff from Aladdin. I don't know. He never got any. The demon betrayed him. But we're going to get that half of the map ourselves. And in so doing, we're going to set off the alarm. That happens every time. That's fine. The thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to fire everybody else, and now my character who has no armor is going to get killed instantly, which is ideal. Because you get out there. For whatever reason, they let me keep the armor. You'd think or I'm sorry, they let me keep the map. You'd think that we just stole this from them, they take the map back, but no way, they just let me keep it. I like it. We're gonna walk in here. We're gonna rehire Stark. And we are going to get the team back together, so to speak, and go finally talk to Frosty, the elf, who is going to give us some more information. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Now, we bought a contact from that guy. We got a lot of money when okay. Okay. Yep, so we're gonna head out. It is, yes. We're gonna head out and do the last thing that we need to do in order to win the game. Walk through the forest. Everybody loves a good forest walk. And go talk to the snooty elves who are going to finally let us know the information that we require. Game? There we go. Lost control of the game there for a second. Not sure what's going on. Might have been when the enemy spawned. But I don't know. Those are stalagmites, by the way, not stalactites, in case you're interested, because science. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and save the game here, just in case terrible, horrible things happen. And we're closing, yeah, so all we have to do is get through this, get to the end boss, and then we're done. So we're going to talk to Frosty. He's going to let us know who she's working for. Get a ride back to the highway and head out and talk to her boss. Her boss is going to give us one final fetch quest to do, and then we're going to be right into the end boss. Okay. Her boss is named Harlequin. He has some interesting tattoos, but he likes them, so let's go for that. Who am I to judge? Yeah. One of the things they got wrong about the future. First of all, they thought payphones would be everywhere. And second of all, yeah. We're going to track down the second half of the map. Harlequin's going to give us great advice and say, hey, go over here and get the second half of the map. So we do. No problem. And I'm gonna go ahead and get into a scripted fight, which is unfortunate. Everyone's alive? Great. Yeah. Unfortunately, every time you walk through that door, there is a chance that you'll set off a scripted fight, which we did. Sorry, I'm trying to mentally math this. And level us up a second time. That'll make us a little bit tankier and help us get through the end boss super fast. The future is a lot of neon signs. It is true. Yeah. And I can't remember if I, one thing did I say 50 or 55 minutes? I can't remember.
The estimate is 50 minutes.
It is 50 minutes? Okay. Oh, God. Don't worry. We're almost done. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. This runs very... Oh, this runs very entertaining.
This should be a hard fight, but I'm just going to run right past him. You can get through the door without actually defeating anyone. The only thing I have to do before I walk through that door is get my main character not dead. Like, he can be almost dead. It's fine. I really don't care. But he can't be totally dead. And we get to Bad Doggo. I'm going to take him down with Stark. And we're pretty much just going to set him up to full offense and have him use his shotgun repeatedly. And time is technically, yeah. Yeah, problem with full offense. If he gets targeted, he dies in like no time at all. Yeah, you might notice my main character is attempting to punch the demon with his fist. My character is 0 in melee, and that's time.
GG.
Yeah. The dragon that we quote-unquote saved from Cave Squad earlier comes in, finishes off the demon, and tells us to seal the demon inside using really fancy equipment. It's got... I love how the game assumes you actually have like the power armor and the expensive gun, which we couldn't afford. But hey, whatever. That's Shadowrun. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed it. It's a fun game. And thank you for having me. I enjoyed coming here. I hope everyone is excited for the runs that are coming up. There's really awesome ones coming up, and I hope people keep playing Sega games because they're a lot of fun. Anyway.
Heck yeah.
All
wow,
right.
you just did my spiel for me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Thank you so much for your run, Knewster.
Oh, yeah,
really
no problem. All right, take care.
Is there anyone you want to like shout out, or are you all good?
Well, Tasco DLX is the other person that runs this game quite a bit. I'll give a shout out to him. This is my own route, but it's largely based on what Tasco did. And Tasco's a pretty awesome person. So, all right. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next up, everyone, we have Shentuck with Nights into Dreams.